I was just listening to a tape, to a video on the war on consciousness, and it was interesting. And it talked about the use of hallucinogenic sacraments by virtually all of the original religions, and how that led to a development of societies living in a spiritually minded way as they live their lives. Whereas in the United States, again, that dream, that transcendent experience that you can get to through meditation and hallucinogenics, it's that altered state of consciousness is where our compassion and our wisdom and our true knowing and understanding, that's where we're at home, is as that. But the difficult thing is to be realized, to make what is actually the truth of our nature and consciousness real in this body. To be self-realized means to have taken responsibility for awakening yourself, for going from who you've had to be to survive according to the society that you're in, into who you could have been if you'd have come into an ideal set of circumstances that would have facilitated your awakening, because the family and group and society that you entered into were already all awakened, and they're welcoming you from a state of personal responsibility and cause, where they're not blaming reality for their troubles or finding a way to cooperate. And everybody doing a part to make everyone's experience of reality better. And so that's, what we have to contemplate for ourselves, you and I both. Because as we near the end of our lives, we have to look at not what our financial accomplishments were or business accomplishments, but we have to say, okay, so whatever we won and accomplished and succeeded in that helped us have a better level of success and survival, that was supposed to be the first rung on the ladder as you climb the beanstalk to the land of the giants of consciousness, of your finances being more than sufficient were to buy you time to focus on who you are, what you're being here, and to erase your programming. Erase all the school programming, all the religious programming, all of the societal programming, and say, okay, I'm here. But none of that surely can define me, because none of that ever understood me. They don't even understand themselves. So how can you allow the opinions of others to have any causative or creative or defining aspect of who you experience yourself to be, who you know yourself to be? So since the only way out is through infinite personal responsibility for our experiences here, that we are the cause and no one and nothing else. If you choose to awaken at that level, where that's not only realized, it's just true, You're awake enough that you perceive reality to be that it is, and you can predict everybody's behavior because you notice who they are, how they're configured, what their motivations are, and you go, okay, if I do this, they'll do that. If I do this, they'll do this. And so by your observation of reality, you conduct yourself in such a way that a harmonization of reality with you is what the result is. That's the thing to test now. What would it be like? Would things all go to hell if reality embraced you and liked it, enjoyed its experience? What if there was a universal celebration as the universe experiences you? Oh, wow. What a pleasant interaction, How can you touch reality that way? How can I? How do we move from who and what we've made ourselves into being here? How do we go from this into self-realizing the truth that sets us free? The truth that would set us free, whatever that is. And if we're wondering what it is, all we have to do is focus on it. Say, what truth, if I knew it as myself, would free me from all of my barriers and traps and diminishments and unconsciousnesses? What level of truth would that have to be superior to all kinds of suppression and opposition and competition? What consciousness transcends all that and inspires all of that to choose better and better, to climb up that stairway, that ladder to the transcendent? You can call it heaven, or you can call it divine, or you can call it super consciousness or cosmic consciousness or universally wise level of consciousness. You don't have to label it in such a way that it offends you or anybody else. Let's just say that it's as good as it's ever been for anyone, for you, consciously. What does it feel like to take that on? You ask the question, you have to expand out your consciousness to find out what that is. How good did any human that was the most expansive and wise and knowledgeable of humans, how expansive was their consciousness? How broad was their reach? How deep into creation did that awareness go? And what did that awareness do for them once they had become a master of reality, so to speak? And that's what you've always been looking to, is how do I master reality? How do I bend and shape and shift and form my experience here according to my wishes, my whims, and my desires, and my plans, and my goals for myself and my family and my community? You ask the question, and then you let the answer of it come to you, and the answer that sets you free from the unconsciousness of the question that you asked. You don't want to stay being the person who asks the question and never gets the answer, do you? That never understands, that never moves beyond, that never transcends. You came here for more than who you are right now. You came here to know what it is to be the best there ever was. Up till this moment. Those shoes that haven't been filled by all the spiritual greats that have ever passed before, who's wearing them now? Who's here embodied as Christ, as Buddha, as Krishna, as Gandhi, even as whoever it is that we set up on a pedestal and say, that was it. That was real. That was true. That was transcendent. That was godly. And apparently there's only one, and it's not me and it's not you. And yet everyone who ever had that story told about them said that, yeah, it is you too. It's not just me. Yeah, I'm the Son of God, but guess what? You're going to do better than I did. Greater works than I have done will you do, right? So what does that mean? That just means that, that guy set the record in the long jump, right? What that did was it gave us all a shot to shoot for, to do better than. And that's what he said. You're going to do better than me. And yet everybody diminishes themselves to the point that's Christian and says, that's it, and I'm not. That's it, and I'm not. And yet when somebody came up to him in the story and said, you're it, good padre, and he says, no, I'm not. There's no one good but the Father. I'm here being human like you, except I'm open to it all. I'm taking it all in. I'm embracing it all until I know it all. I'm going down below them all, experiencing every level of density and darkness and evil and every way there is to entrap a consciousness. And I'm going to sample that until the light turns on there. And I realize the divine within the chains that bind you into a, kind of a hell, where things are not the way you want them, not the way they should be, not fun, not happy, not even real to you. What good is reality if it's not even real to you? And what good are you if you're not real? The reality that freed you, the truth that sets you free is the reality that sets you free and grants you infinite freedom. Sees your infinite potential and says, yeah, that's okay for you to be and do and have that here with me. That's how you want this reality to respond to you, and that's how you want to treat this reality. You want to be able to see the person that you're with and say, you know what? If you woke up in a transcendent way, that'd be cool. And not only would it be cool, that would be good for me. Because I wouldn't be able to hold the best of myself back if somebody were transcendently present and interacting with me. So if you want that for yourself and your experience of others, be that experience for the others that you share your life with. How? By not saying no and not condemning yourself anymore for the things that you've done and not being proud of them either. None of the praise and none of the criticism is allowed through the door of awakening into pure consciousness. Come on. You can't be proud of who you've been unconsciously. You can't say this is the truth because I imposed it on everybody else. No, just because a reality is imposed doesn't make it true, doesn't make it right, doesn't make it real. It's temporary, it'll pass. All force, all effort, all strong intentions to create or destroy, those dissipate and dissolve and fall apart. Reality's transitory. Things come and go. But just because things come and go, and different sorts of civilizations and realities and awarenesses come in and out of whatever the collective reality for humanity is, doesn't mean that any one of us, doesn't mean that you have to let that define and limit you, because it doesn't. It's just what the general choice is for that everybody makes here on how reality is real to them. But what I can tell you is that everyone, when they interact with something that awes them, that inspires them, that makes them go, wow, wow. Everybody is open to inspiration, no matter who they are, no matter what they do, no matter how destructive and violent and evil they are. They're all willing to have something create a sense of wonder in them. And whatever that is, it's not wrong. There could be a million combinations of what it takes to create wonder in another person, because each one of the million people are, uniquely wired. But if you moved into somebody else's space with the intention that you were going to conduct yourself in such a way that a sense of wonder, a sense of awakening and gratitude is the experience of the other person when they're with you. Oh my. What's it like to actually be that for someone else, anyone else? Well, it means that you can't even hold on to the idea of the you that you were before you became willing to be what another needed you to be for them to awaken and open and transcend the limitations that they've carried through life unconsciously. So there's nothing that's trapped you. You're not trapped. You're not stopped. You're not damned. You're not limited. You're not confused. You're just not taking responsibility. You're it for you. You're it. You're all there is from your point of view. You're all there is. It's real and important. Because what you experience is yourself. But notice also the reality that you're interacting with. How much of that reality is responding to you in such a way that they're the best that they can be. They're the lightest. They're the freest. They're the most wonderful expression of themselves. So again, how do we do that? Well, you don't know. Everybody's different. What you do is you enter with respect into another person's interaction with you. You notice, you look, you feel until you understand. And you communicate in such a way with them that they know that you're looking for something for them that is beyond what they normally experience here. You're looking for them to understand where they are, how they are, and what they want, how they want to bloom and blossom and become fulfilled. And you go, oh, okay, so how do I configure with that best thing that you're willing to experience? And then you just let yourself shift. Because in truth, nothing's more important than that, than knowing how to move in such a way that you share another's most transcendent and beautiful experience of themselves that they've ever experienced. That's a pretty good end state. That's a pretty good goal. How does a person feel from you such an invitation to awaken and transcend that they just go, okay, yeah, here we go. Thanks for the invitation. Nice to see you again. Here we go. And then they wake up. Simple. You were what they needed. You were the signal. You were the what made them notice that they wanted to wake up, to really wake up. And the only way that they could do it was to have somebody to mirror with, back and forth real quick, until you realize that there was no limitations in the willingness of the other person to expand and orient and find a way that the miraculous is possible for you to experience with them. And so that's how reality shifts. And it's something that each one of us has to choose for ourselves. And when we do, things begin to get easier. The barriers beginning to fall away. And your body begins to open and relax. And to know it's safe because a consciousness is here within it that has chosen to allow the transcendent to experience it. No matter what sort of hell you're experiencing as the truth of yourself, you open up and allow the transcendent to experience you as that, without any apologies. Just saying, yeah, here's what I created. I'm this, exactly. Then you let the transcendent grab you right there and say, oh, wow, that's nice. Let me share that with you. Let me feel what it's like to be a true horse's ass, or whatever it is that you are. Whatever it is that it is, the divine says, yeah, I'm right here with you. That is neat. That's interesting how you could configure yourself like that. But, it's really hard to hold on to it as we look at it divinely, because everything just begins to move synchronistically. Consciousness reconfigures itself when it finds a more conscious example or mirror for itself that it knows would be a more successful way to operate for itself. And as each consciousness opens to know more, to be more, to perceive more, all we find is that the more we awaken, the more we're true as ourselves. The more we know ourselves, the more we become real here as a identity that's indefinable. An entity that's indefinable. There, you don't have to categorize yourself anymore. You can be whatever needs to be in any one moment, for that moment to be as free as possible for every other point of view. And how do you have success with everyone else being success themselves? You ever get rich off a poor person? Me neither. If everyone is abundant, then everyone is really valuable for you. It's a survival possibility, right? And is there a way for everyone to be abundant? Well, there's no individual that can't be more abundant than they are. So the answer is yes. Everyone can be more abundant. So let yourself be abundantly more clear to yourself what your potentials are, what the true reason for your being here, and that it's time for you to integrate yourself. Integrate a transcendent expression of yourself with the you that you've been here. So the you that you've been here can finish waking up. Because you're a little bit stuck. And you even forgot that. You thought you had it all figured out. And yet you're living in hell. So how much did you have figured out? Not much. Once you acknowledge the truth of the circumstances you're in and how badly failed you are, or how badly realized, or how perfectly, tied up in a knot expression of you that you are, it doesn't, none of it matters. There's no judgment on that. The only thing that's causative is your willingness to say, you know what? That's true. I'm winning in a losing reality. And that's not the right game to be in. This reality is supposed to shift and change. And it's not going to unless you choose to have a transcendent impact on it by ceasing to judge yourself and ceasing to praise yourself. You're not good. You're not great. But it's not impossible for you to be the spark of freedom that changes the whole fucking universe either. Infinite potential requires infinite responsibility in order for it to occur. So how much responsibility are you going to take on for yourself? Because that's a determining factor on how real you are, how awake you are, and how free you are. You can't manifest what you came here to be unless who you are in the moment transcends what it is as the limited identity and personality and physical expression that you are here. That has to be transcended for you to be more real and more true than you are now. So you have to let yourself go. You have to let the lies burn off in the fire of, a divine realization. That wording works for me, but whatever works for you is what you do. But don't pretend that it's working. Not be what the people around you need in order to awaken and experience themselves as a free and true being here. Their beingness is free and their beingness is true. Because that is what's true, and that is the truth that sets you free. When you're free, you are free. There is no more hold on you. There is no more limitation. There is no more obligation. And yet you're taking infinite responsibility for that yourself. Nothing can contain you or entrap you spiritually. when you embrace it all. When you embrace it all, you can know it all. When you know it all, you can, you know, be the right guy for the circumstance that you're in such a way that the circumstance gets better and better and better. So, as much as you can, allow yourself to experience that right now. Your experience of yourself in your body. Feel how bad it is. And from the most densest part of that bad experience of what it is to feel, what it is to be you, you wake up there and things start moving and transmuting and transcending because you're not holding on to it anymore with judgment. You're not holding on to it anymore with praise. You're moving in each moment and with each step to a greater level of realization and freedom. And then you begin to wake up here. You begin to go, oh yeah, okay. Looks like this is working. I'm coming in. I'm coming in clear enough, strong enough to stay awake. So I'm going to take responsibility for maintaining this level of consciousness from moment to moment now. I'm choosing to stay awake, to remain aware, to be brilliantly present. Once you experience that, you just choose to continue experiencing that. Just choose to maintain a brilliant awareness. Everything that's trying to shut you down from the inside will dissolve in that choice. That choice to be brilliantly aware. Everything that fights you, surrenders and dissolves and transcends from that point of view into embracing an infinite one where they come back into a harmonic resonance with you. So that's the progression of consciousness. To look at the transcendent until you open up to experience it, and then to experience the transcendent until you realize it pretty clearly. And as you realize it more and more clearly, you realize that, oh, it's always been me. That's funny. I was always looking somewhere else for the truth that would set me free. And the truth that sets me free is the truth of me, that I'm a transcendent being. And now I'm taking responsibility for that being my experience of myself from moment to moment. If you're feeling bad as you dive into the darkness of yourself, it's because you're not taking enough responsibility. If you go into the darkness with a full high beam headlights on, you're not going to have to suffer as the darkness that finally gets a little spark to wake up. You come in embracing the darkness like yin and yang, but with the light of self-awareness, of universal understanding. Come into your body as that. It's okay, because that's real and it's true. Just allow that to change you. Let go of anything that's lesser than that, that's less real than that. Let all those contextual truths fade away as you embrace the infinite. And the infinite you will experience the limited you until the infinite you knows every limitation intimately. And at the point that the infinite you knows everything there is about the you that's limited, then you're awakened within the limitation. And you expand out, you blossom. You experience what it is to be set free here by the truth that grants you freedom. The truth that grants you freedom is that the truth of you is the truth that grants you freedom. It's a bit of a paradox. You're trapped in the hell while your truth is infinite freedom. So you're just not knowing and understanding and living and perceiving what your truth is. Of course, you know that. But you're so afraid that you're holding on to a strategy instead of the truth. You're holding on to strategies instead of truth. Let the strategies go. Let awareness fill all the space where you strategized. Let that be filled with knowing and grace and joy and excitement, a wondrous wow. Give space for that in your experience of you by letting everything else less fun than that go. Allow the light of you to love your darkness until the darkness joins the light in the divine celebration of life. And it's the same for me too. I have to let that happen for myself, to myself. within a really painful body, just full of tension and fear. How am I going to save myself? I don't know. How am I going to meet my responsibilities? I don't know. I know it's going to happen somehow. It always does. And it's getting better and better and better. So I'll take that responsibility that my life is my creation. And I'm going to know creation, all creation, better. I'm going to see it for what it is. And then I'm going to behave myself in such a way that reality likes me better now than it has before. And it doesn't cost me more. It costs me less. In fact, it doesn't cost me at all because it's the blessing, it's the awakening, it's the expression, it's the unfolding, it's the transcendent release that I've been looking for. So there's not a cost to that, the movement from what you are to what your potential is. That's a hero's journey, not a walk of shame. And isn't that what your life should be here and now? For whatever life you have left? An example of the hero's journey. You know, that which came down from above and embodied. Oh, had horrific challenges and journeys and battles and then transcended all of that. And won by becoming one universally. When universal wholeness can be known within an individual, then we have the opportunity to see our truth in somebody else's eyes. Whatever is universally whole and true, when you experience that as something outside of you, yet that level of reality in another, then boom, you just saw yourself in that. The truth of self that sets you free, that is you too. Every one of those heroes, every one of those spiritual giants, every one of those gods and goddesses, whatever was real as that, has done nothing but invite you to join and share and transcend and celebrate the divine with them as yourself. So where's that reality? Where is the divine celebration? Well, the divine celebration is always inclusive. It's not exclusive. It's the truth of you, the truth of me, the truth of everyone. All you have to do is look. Find that kingdom of heaven within, right? I mean, we're kind of going down a Christian thing, but it's not limited to that, but it makes for a good story, a metaphor. You know, that's really what it is a metaphor. But it was a metaphor that wasn't expected to result in your being Peter that walked on water and didn't lose faith and fall in. You know, how do you move to that level of responsibility? By letting every aspect of yourself transcend. Because there's no part of you that that's real for. That's as real for you as reality can be. If you let the who and what that you have been become one with universal truth within your experience of yourself. All you have to do is let go and let it all change. Let it all move. Let that universal truth reconfigure your experience of who you are as a body, as a mind, as an identity, as a personality. The cool thing is you don't have to figure it out. There's nothing that you have to learn. You don't have to meditate for 100 lifetimes. You don't have to climb an infinite number of steps to the stairway of heaven. You don't have to realize that there's no God. If you're an atheist, you can still wake up, because there's not a God if the God's not you. 2, there's not an individuated God that's transcendent and that's the truth of one. The truth of one is always the truth of all when it comes to infinite possibilities. And if there's an infinite possibility for one, then that's the truth of us all. It can't be any other way. It can seem to be in a contextualized, limited, polarized oppositional reality, but if consciousness can be transcendent, then all consciousness can be transcendent. If transcendent awareness, if universal awareness is possible for anyone, then it's possible for everyone. So you don't have to give reverence to someone who did it. All you have to do is find out through your own experience of yourself what it was that they did. You just go, okay, is that real? Let me open and feel that. Let me expand out my consciousness, my energy, my presence until I know all aspects of what that is. What does that require? You know, if your ideal is Jesus and you're going to know Jesus intimately, then you have to embrace him to the point where there's no place that Jesus is that you aren't. Which means he has to be within you completely. And if that's the case, then like he said, you're the bigger man, greater works, you know? So in terms of, let's say Buddhism, there's not that hierarchy like that. Not that kind of example, really. Just, I guess I should read more about Buddhism. But, why? If there was a Buddha, and Buddha had an awareness that existed within time and space, then all you have to do is expand out through time and space until you go, hey, where's this ultimate Buddha that they talk about? And you connect. And you allow that consciousness to know you. And you allow your consciousness to know that. There's it's almost like making love. There's a willingness to receive and a willingness to give at the same time. And a willingness to be changed by the interaction. And so as you explore whatever it is you need to explore so that a universal experience is one that you have, then I can begin to know what that is through my experience of you, because it's real in you, because it's whole within you. So whatever your standard is, name any deity in any religion at any time and space, whatever it is that let's say there's only one limitation, that when you reach out to embrace and experience what that is, it has to makes you go something like, oh my God. And you expand infinitely in every way throughout time and space and dimensions and realities, and until whatever that universal being and presence and essence was, you know it completely. The only way that you can know it completely is to forever infinitely expand until you find the limits of it. And if you can do the paradoxal thing and explore the limits of limitlessness, then you're experiencing so much that the little issues of the body and the mind and the ego and the personality fall away into insignificance, because you're universally connected now. And that's true and real for you. Now your contextualized reality here is placed in proper context. And you go, okay, what's the proper way for me to behave in this reality that I've created now that I've awakened? Okay, let's clean things up. Let's make things right. Let's make our beds in such a way that our beds are the foundation of our freedom. Have a free place to be and to express and to operate. So whatever the circumstances that you find yourself in, when you decide to wake up, then you just start making them better without future obligations. Don't make any future obligations that require you to be static enough that, oh, this is Richard, and it's going to be exactly the way that he is, with a little bit of diminishment each year for the next 10 years until he dies. I'll probably be around for that, but that's not what I want to experience of you. I want to say, hey, he did it, man. He did it. He really, really did it. He quit judging himself. He quit judging his family. And he woke up. And he went, wow. 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 I'm here now, finally. I'm real now, finally. And I'm free now, finally. There's nothing that you've ever done that's worth judging, because you did it from the consciousness that you were at that was messed up. When your consciousness is messed up, if you give yourself an eternal sentence for that, that's even more messed up. If you went deaf, dumb, and retarded, right, and then did retarded things, that's what's expected of you being the consciousness that you are here like this. You're expected to act it out. You're expected to play the role. You're expected to wear the mask and say, yeah, this is real, this is me, this is true, this is as good as it gets. And it's all a lie. It's all a pretense. And you can do better than that, a lot better. You can do better all the way, like it's never been done before. Stop being proud, and stop being sad, and stop being fearful. Just be undefined, undefinable. And find that divine within yourself where you go, wow, it's real, it's true, and it's me. That's what you're shooting for. And all you have to do is let it happen. All you have to do is not say no. All you have to do is be in your body, be responsible, and let a divine interaction happen to you. Allow your body to move however it needs to move, and to say whatever it needs to say, and to feel whatever it needs to feel in order to transcend the you that you've been, and allow that to dissolve into insignificance so that the new you can come in and blossom. And it's not the new you, it's the old you, it's the eternal you, it's a wonderful, wondrous, compassionate you of infinite grace, infinite awareness, infinite responsibility. Yeah, feel what it's like for that to come into your head and take residence. It's nice. Let it be okay for that to be you. Let that set you free. Let that dissolve your limitations. Let that be the fire of transformation for all the cellular memory, for all the unconsciousness, for all the fears and emotions. They're all free to transcend now. Let it happen for you. Doesn't matter. The past doesn't matter. The present doesn't matter. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. You can be free and then make better choices tomorrow than you did today. Let yourself be free. It's okay. You have permission, but you have to take the responsibility yourself. The responsibility to surrender. It's the greatest way to create, is in your responsibility to surrender to the divine, to the universal, to the infinite grace of truth that brings freedom to you. Well, this was a bit of a little bit different flavor, huh? Keeps getting better. Just like it's supposed to. Huh? Just like it's supposed to. It's supposed to get better. For you, for me, for everyone. It's supposed to get better. All we have to do is let it. We should have to let it happen for ourselves. And it can't get better by you being right in wrongness. It can only get better by you being right in a way that is freedom. So the rightness has to transcend polarized reality and polarized interaction. It has to be a level of rightness that there's no confusion, there's no problems. You're the inspiration for reality to reharmonize around you and celebrate, to begin, a dance of grace itself. So you have to go for it all. You have to go for the infinite. You have to go for the universal. You can't go free by following the example of anyone. You have to go for it all, not one point. You have to go 360 degrees in all directions simultaneously. And within and without. Pardon me. And of course, always easier said than done. But again, it doesn't require a manual, but it does require the labor of focused consciousness on the choice, and then the willingness to receive it and be transformed by it into that which can't be defined and limited and contained anymore, because it's beyond that to a point of true freedom. So feel how your mind wants to open into knowing that now. And let it. Let your mind know that by experience. That way you don't have to read a book about it. When you know it experientially, you actually understand it. Because you sit in it. It's yours. The experience is yours. It's real for you. And it's true for you. And how you have the experience is by the willingness to experience what that is. There we go. An opening. An opening in our willingness to transcend some way, somewhere, somehow. Somewhere, in some way, and somehow, that doesn't have to be defined. It just has to be relaxed into. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is happening. It's happening for us. Just let it happen more and more and more. The how and the why and the where and the who doesn't matter. Only that you notice it's happening to you, and then you let it move and expand and become you until it is you. Because the you that you are hasn't been becoming to you. Sure. It hasn't been becoming to your eternal truth. And your eternal truth hasn't become you as a result of it. So, let your past go. It wasn't good enough. As good as it wasn't good enough for you to be universally present and aware. We're just acknowledging reality. We're not judging it. Okay? So don't ever feel like it's a judgment. We're just looking at what is and stating it, taking responsibility for it, asking for more, letting that more hit us in the forehead and every other part of our body, and letting that more transform whatever it connects to within us. We allow the recipe of universality, of wholeness, of oneness, of of that which is free to have free reign within us, to change anything that it wants to transform it, to move us to transcend, to take quantum leaps in consciousness and leave the past behind where it belongs. And allow the present to be a transformative one, a transcendent one, a one where we go, oh, wow, that was easy. Let it be easy for you to experience yourself infinitely. Oh, you mean you can just let it happen? It's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to take a lifetime of work. Well, haven't you been working a lifetime already? So let that prerequisite have been met. You didn't just come in here. You've been here your whole life. Okay, so and you did the best that you could, right? Right. So it was good enough to get you to the point where you can make the choice to transcend who and what you are, what you did wrong and what you did right. You're transcending it all. Because none of that matters. It doesn't matter how right you were, and it doesn't matter how wrong you were. If the transcendence your choice of expression, then it's something different. It's something new. It's not what your experience has been already. And if it's the truth of one of us, it's the truth of all of us. And if it's the truth of one of us and the rest of us haven't accepted it for ourselves, then what are you waiting for? It's okay to be number two. It's okay to be the second one that made the choice, and it's okay to be the last one that made the choice. But you do have to make the choice. You don't know if you're the first one or the last one, because reality is configured to your consciousness. And you won't know the truth until you're set free and woken up. And reality around you at that point will be set free and broken up too. So were you the first or were you the last? Oh, fuck, who knows? I don't know. All I know is that when it happens, it happens. And it doesn't matter if you're the first or the last, only that it happened for you. Only that it's real for you. And only that reality has a chance to experience somebody at that level of consciousness here as you. That's what the universe wants from you. It wants you to be universally whole, universally complete, universally aware, universally loving, universally blessing. Reality here. So the universe can celebrate you back and have a little heaven on earth as a result. You don't get to experience heaven on earth unless heaven on earth is you. Sucks, right? You don't get to come to the party as yourself. As somebody else's guest. As somebody else's serf. You have to walk into the party as it's your own, because the party is for you when you wake up there. Everybody goes, hell yes. In heaven they go that. It's funny. They go, hell yes. Hell opened and spat out one of theirs, and they came back home. It's a welcome home to heaven, hell party, sort of, as a metaphor. Or not. Maybe it's real, maybe it's true. Does it matter? From the point of not knowing? No. If you're not knowing, you only have one choice. You only have one card to play, and that is surrender. into transformation. Tell Joel Osteen I said hi. Okay, well, I guess that's good enough.